Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new episode of F1 2020 career season here on my channel, and we're going to start off with our activities this weekend, building up to the Grand Prix in Hungary, the Hungary. As I said in the previous video, and if you've watched the previous video, it wasn't a very successful race at all. We're going to do some upgrades in the durability department this weekend. So far we need to save up a little bit more money so we can purchase the fabrication part of our durability department, so we can upgrade more than one part. Now this is mainly because if you look on our wear here, we're using up almost every single last component that we possibly have before penalties. Only one we don't have to use is the MG UK has one more left without a penalty, which means if we use any more then we're going to get grid penalties, which is not ideal. So I need to really work on the durability of this car to make sure that we can avoid getting loads of grid penalties. Otherwise the points in the season are going to be a lot lower than the start of the season, which means our battle with Racing Point won't be very successful, as they will be getting more points because they have two drivers, don't forget, who can get points, whereas Luca Giotto for us can't get many points at the moment. Anyway, we're going to buy the fabrication for our car, so we're going to be able to get two simultaneous upgrades. That arrives on the 1st of August, which I believe is literally after this race weekend. We're going to choose a softer compound, and I'm going to see you guys in qualifying. So here on our first lap here in Q1, try and get a nice tidy exit out of this corner, open our DRS flap, and again we're just going to try and see what lap time that we can post. I did feel in the practice sessions leading up to qualifying that the car was actually quite good around this track. I felt like it was sticking to the track quite well. So I felt like this car had quite a lot of pace and potential this race weekend, after the last race weekend in Britain, where let's just say it didn't go to plan at all. It was wet for qualifying and the race, so it wasn't brilliant, let's just put it that way. But we're going to see what we can achieve here. We need to get some points here after losing out so much to Racing Point. Nice tidy exit through that corner, which was very good. Vettel's posted 14.9. Which is not a bad time to start with, I think, in Q1. As usual, Q1, the front runners don't post their fastest lap times that they can possibly do. They want to save their car for the later sessions. We end up posting a 15 flat, so we're only just behind Vettel. And our second run, we post a 14.6, so much better. And then we're going to do one more flying lap here in Q1. We have our teammate Luca Giotto just up in front of us. I wanted to do one more lap in case the track quickened up and I didn't get as much time. We do cut the corner there, as I couldn't turn the car in. I need to upgrade. I need to put up the front wheel, the front brake bias, so we can brake sharper in that corner. Anyway, we do get through out of Q1 and we're now into Q2 on our first flying lap in Q2. And in Q2, I'm going to do 2 laps, but on the same tyre, because I feel like Q3 is a possibility, and I've only got one other fresh soft set after this one, and I wanted to save that for Q3, as I really thought we can get into Q3 this weekend. So I'm going to be doing 2 laps on this compound, and we mess that section up. We are going to continue with the lap, but we do go a bit wide. Again, we didn't quite get the car in early enough, but we're going to carry on with the lap. Try and see what lap time we can post. We are going to go for this lap twice now, as this isn't very tidy at all. I'm just going to see how much faster we can go, and possibly get ourselves into Q3 for the first time in quite a few races, actually. And again, we are in that fight with Racing Point in the constructors. I'm not bothered about the drivers. I am 4th in the drivers, but I think that will slip towards the end of the season. I'll probably end up coming like 5th or 6th or something. But constructors is where it's at, because that's where the money is involved. I'm going to see what time we can post. 14.3, so not a bad opening lap. We're then going to do one more flying lap on this compound of tyre. Get a good exit out this corner. Get a nice exit out of this corner. 1/10 up now, nearly 2/10 up early on the power. Trying to lose too much time through this section. Good exit out of there. We're now gaining a little bit of time. The car again just sticking to the track now, which is excellent to see. We're nearly 3/10 up on our personal best right now. break through to the corners, ride the curb, over the barrier, over the curbs there. Trying to be nice and clean to the section. That was much cleaner than what we were before. We're now 0.6 of a second up on our previous lap time. We go purple in the second sector with 0.3 up on Charles Leclerc's time. This should be enough to get us out of Q2 for sure, even if the track does improve. And we do make it into Q3. So now we're going to have our Q3 lap. I think we only have time for one lap in Q3. I only have one set to use, so I have to make this lap really count here. I'm hoping to possibly get a, I don't know, a P5, P6. I don't see myself getting any better, but I think I'll be a good position to start the race in, some healthy points. As long as I'm ahead of Sergio Perez and Lance Stroll, then I will be happy. That is for sure. Just be ahead of those racing points. Good exit out of that corner. Nice and on the brakes. Early on the power. Don't let the rear end get away from us too much. And we do set the lap time. And I start P6. I don't know why I cut that bit out. And I didn't mean to do that, guys. But we're going to go to the start of the race now. Let's see what we can do. 5 red lights. And away we go. The lights went out very quickly there. We actually get a very good start off the line. We're going to use a little bit of ERS just to get past Verstappen so he doesn't get us down the inside. We're up into P4. Already made one position up. Trying to get down the inside of Sebastian Vettel. Can we make the move stick? We're going to have a little bit of a drag race here. The two red cars fighting out with each other. Should go trying to run the outside of Vettel into turn 3. Or into turn 2 rather. Now into turn 3. We're going to stick around the outside. Really force Vettel to force him out of the track. He was still on the track limit, so we don't get a penalty for it. And we are now finding ourselves in P3. I feel like the Mercedes are going to be impossible to catch this race. They are so quick in that car. Let's see if we can do this section a little bit better than what we normally do. That's better. That's more like it.
Okay, that's a good start. Keep it up.
I did change the brake bar. It was actually below 50% for our brake bars. We put it up to 50% just to try and make sure we do get the car turned in a little bit quicker than what we would normally do. We're now going to continue on with lap 1. We're going to try and see where, or how much time we can actually build up against Vettel. I want to see if I can get myself maybe outside the 1 second gap by the 3rd lap. I feel like I'm going to be fighting for my life for this position, really. To stay in P3, it'll be a challenge, but we're up for it. The car feels good this weekend, and we're going to see if we can pull it off. Mercedes are already 1.5 seconds ahead of us, which is ridiculous. Just proves how quick their car really is in a straight line, unfortunately for us. I'm just going to see what kind of lap time that we can consistently post and try and keep Sebastian Vettel behind us for the majority of the race if we can. Feed it through this corner. Put on the ERS a little bit. We're going to save our fuel a little bit throughout this race just to make sure we have something to fight with for the whole race. As I feel like if we don't, then we won't have anything to fight with by the end of the Grand Prix. Again, feed it nice and easy through this corner. On the brakes, down to gear 2. Don't let the back end get out on us. Much better through that corner. We're sort of learning that section now a little bit more. Down on the brakes. Very nice there. Through the corner, down to gear 6. Lovely, lovely, lovely through the corner. Down to gear 3. Up on the power a little bit more now. Stay in gear 3. On the power a little bit now. Coming towards the end of the 2nd lap here. See what time we can post. We are 7/10 ahead of Vettel now. So we're sort of pulling away very slightly from the German driver. Now going to skip to lap 4 now.
We're leading our teammate by 9.4 seconds. They're on old softs. They're in 15th. The time last lap was a 1:18.9.
So Luca Giotto's in P15. That's a very good start from Luca considering the race he's had before. Again, I don't think it'll be enough for him to get points, but P15 is an improvement. We want to try and see if we can maybe get a point finish out of him this season. That would be nice to see, wouldn't it? He got P11 in 2 races, so he's been close, but he just needs a little bit of luck and just a bit more pace in the car. So we're going to try and improve him in our activities that we have throughout the season. We're going to try and improve his stats a little bit. We skipped to lap 7. Bottas has already come in the pits. I haven't come in the pits yet. The pit stops actually started on lap 5. So I went for a couple of laps a bit more than what I would do normally. Just to possibly see if I can get the overcut on some of these drivers. Remember, we're fighting against Vettel. And we're going to see where we come out in comparison to him. Bottas is only 15 seconds behind us, so we're definitely not coming out in front of Valtteri. But we are boxing this lap on lap 7. We're going to again see what kind of time we can post. Or lap 8 we actually come in on. Or lap 7. Lap 7 onto lap 8. Oh, a bit of a slow stop here from the Morris Motorsport crew. A little bit of a slow stop there. So Bottas and Hamilton have passed us. A little bit late opening our taking off the pit limiter. We have Vettel coming on us. And we do keep our position to Sebastian Vettel. He is now 7/10 behind us. And all we've got to do now is keep him behind for the rest of the race if we can. Down to gear 3. Open up the steering a little bit. Lovely through that turn. Keep everything nice and simple. Don't try and overdo the car. Don't try and create any form of oversteer which will maybe force us into a mistake and let Vettel go past us. We just have to keep everything nice and clean. Stay off some of these curves. Those white curves. The red and white ones are fine. Just the white curves on the side of this track can be something that steers your car off the circuit. Because they are quite thick, these curves. So they're not curves you want to ride all the time. You just want to kiss the apex a little bit. Don't want to send the car flying. We do have 6/10 now back to Vettel. We are posting consistent lap time, just sort of staying near the best lap time that we have done so far, whilst not using up too much standard or too much rich mix or ERS on the laps. Again, I'm just trying to keep the laps nice and consistent to try and keep the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel behind us for the entirety of this Grand Prix. Maybe come away with the podium. Skip to lap 13 now. With Vettel's now 1.6 seconds behind. So far we've done this very well. We've got to create a little bit of distance, a little bit sloppy out that corner. Probably lost a little bit of time to the Ferrari. Back to 1.3 seconds now. We put down to gear 3. Open the put the ERS on. So we've got 4 laps left of this Grand Prix. And we're going to see again. We can just keep that gap to Vettel. I do find the AI cars get quicker towards the end of the race. For some reason, that happens every race. Any car which is sort of chasing you down gets quicker. But one thing I'd like to notice that our gap to Hamilton has stayed around 4 seconds for quite a few laps now. So we're actually setting consistent times compared to Lewis. Valtteri's gone. Valtteri's like 4 seconds up the road compared to Lewis. So I think Valtteri's definitely going to win this race. We get a seeding track limits there. Went a little bit wide. Couldn't quite keep the car under control. We do set a personal best in that first sector though. Again, up on the curb. Maybe a little bit too much curb there. We did get the car turned in. Down to gear 4. We're going to skip now to the end of the last lap. Vettel's now 2.7 seconds behind. We've really pushed. I'm actually trying to set a personal best here. I'm using up as much fuel as I can to set this personal best. Because I've gone green. Hamilton's now 5 seconds ahead. We did lose time to Hamilton in the end. Bottas wins the race by 7 seconds to his teammate. We are going to come through to take P3 here at the Hungarian Grand Prix. So Ocon gets driver of the day. I don't know what happened to him and what position he got, but good result from Esteban there. But we come across the line in P3. I'm very, very happy with that result, considering what happened last time out in Britain, where we had no pace in the car whatsoever. At a track that I normally suffer, but P3 is very good position. In the next race weekend, guys, I'm actually going to change up the team's liveries to make sure that it all matches now back to red. We are going to become a red team now. We stay in 4th in the drivers, and the constructors, we are still 13 points roughly ahead of Racing Point. But thank you very much, guys, for watching. If you did enjoy, smash the thumbs up button. I will see you in the next career mode. Until next time, bye for now. I'll see you soon.